Good morning, everybody. It is a fantastic Saturday morning, 17th of June, 2023. Wow, it's been a week. It has been a week. How is everybody doing? I want to start off by reintroducing myself in case you are unfamiliar with me and my work. My name is Stephen Anderson. I am, let's move that microphone a little closer to my face. Um, I am senior character supervisor on Overwatch, and yeah, fun stuff. And then in my spare time, I like to try to do my own thing. Have fun with it. Um, my mic is not as I can't make my mic any higher, literally. So I get this complaint every week. So just make sure that everything is good on your end. Because I promise I can't make my mic any higher. Um, so yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Um, I want to go ahead and get started. So this is my Sphinx that I started kind of reworking several weeks ago. Yeah, we just got started. The Frau. Yeah. Uh, it's exciting. I mean, I've been able to go through and do a lot of work on this character in the last, recent weeks, including hands. We started getting hands working in a way that felt cool. Um, a little bit of background to this project for those who may be new to the stream or who didn't watch last week or the week before. Um, this project was done like 6 or 7 years ago, and I had gone through, I'd posed it, and it was, it's looking all right. It was looking pretty good, but there were a lot of anatomy issues, and so I wanted to go through and redo it so that she was really nicely done. And so it's something like I could look at and be like, hey, that I did a good job. I did myself proud on this one. So that's kind of what I did. I started during the stream a couple weeks ago, and I took her out of her pose and started bringing her into T pose, into an A pose, so that she was ready eventually to give her production ready topology, and um, and yeah, and so this is the idea is to end up with something that is production ready, something that I can go ahead and turn into a full maquette like I do with most of my other things anyway. Um, and yeah, it's just a bunch of fun. Just trying to have fun and kind of push this project. I really like the potential that she has. So it's just a matter of kind of pushing, pulling, and playing. So one of the things that I wanted to be able to go through and do, I was looking at this last night, and I mean it's not terrible. I just don't think that it feels quite right for what I'm wanting out of this particular bit here on the fingertips. So I want to think about something different to do with the fingertips. I want to think about how I want to structure the under faces. It might be a matter of just like making it feel very shapely, so that it feels kind of like a harsh U. It's like if we think that was not what I was expecting. Did that update? What's going on? Light shot. Oh no. I think they. I think that. Oh, this is frustrating. Lightshot's supposed to be my go-to screenshot app, and it's not working for me. Okay. So the idea. Let's see if we can. Is there another way? Snipping tool. Let's go ahead. Do something like. Oh, see, that one doesn't even work. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can draw on this. Okay, so these right now, it's like it's super rounded. I want this. I want to experiment with maybe having it be more of like this rounded square sort of shape. To the bottom of those fingers right there. Windows Shift S. That's a good one to know. I mean, it brings up the same tool, but my light shot isn't working the way that I was expecting it to, and that's kind of uncool. Let's go to options. It's like I know these sorts of things should be working, but it's like the thing that I really liked about light shot is that it kept everything. Let's pull that all the way up. Is that it kept things on the screen, like it kept your selection on the screen, and so I don't know. It's just kind of a kind of a pain that it's not working the way that I enjoyed it working before. Oh well. Oh, you know what? I have something I want to download. Let's go ahead. Let's download. Uh, if anybody is familiar with Pablo Munoz, he is a fan. Here, I'm going to open up. These are my links. If anybody would like to, see any of my social medias or anything like that, you can find any of those here. I got my personal website. I've got, my Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. And then I've got, things like joining my Discord, place on ArtStation where you can get stuff, all sorts of things. So fun stuff. I'm going to look for Pablo Munoz. I'm pretty sure it's on the ZBrush Guides website. So for anybody who is unfamiliar with Pablo Munoz, there's his website. He's super good. Go into resources. He has all sorts of different brushes and things available that he's built himself. And you know what? I think it might be his other site. ZBrush Guides, 3D Concept Artist, 3D Snippets might be actually where it's at. Creepy Concept Sculpt. Okay, so this was cool, but there was also now hold on. Let me see. It's this ZBrush. Sculpting brushes. Here we go. I knew I had it somewhere. It's just like a matter of finding it. Here is this new ZBrush, named after Geo Nakbil. He's amazing. Like he's easily one of my favorite sculptors in the realms of the everywhere, and he does this awesome job. In fact, let's go back and we can look at this a little bit. I think there should be. I thought there was information about it. I guess there isn't. But the idea behind this brush, in fact, I could do that. I could open up. So this is a little bit about the ZBrush. Okay, so this is to be able to get some of the type of forms that Geo gets in his sculpting. Okay, it gets like really cool, like a tight pinching. It's like a Damien standard, but it's really, it leaves really soft forms, but then really tight creases around the areas where you're trying to put in those details. So it's really really neat. You can see the way that he's able to overlap that and get like tighter details or tighter creases in there. I'm thinking it might be a fun one to play with to see if I can get information out of it that I want. In fact, let me get this. I don't need this anymore. I don't need this anymore. But yeah, if you want to be able to look at his brushes, you can come over to this website. And I dropped that link in the chat, and you can take that on over. There are some really good ones. Like there are these hair. These are really really fun and really nice to play with. And this one comes with like a bundle, so this is kind of cool. The different clay brushes, melting wax. Like you can use like this melting wax brush to be able to create different things, different effects. Um, but it's super cool. Clay imperfections. Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun. It's really really nice. He's got a lot of really good resources. So I definitely recommend coming and checking out his site. Um, Let me see. So I want to try this out. I think I have to go ahead and let's install the brush. Let's go ahead and say downloads. Oh, good. So here's the brush. So if you have a brush that you want to be able to save, I'm just going to say Control X, and we're going to go into our ZBrush folder. The way you get to that, real quick and easy, go to PC, go to the C drive, program files, I believe, Maxon ZBrush. I can get rid of this folder. I don't need that anymore. Maxon ZBrush 2023, ZData, brush presets, and then right over here we can say Control V, and you can see I don't want that in the name. I can say GeoSoft Forms. That way I know how to find it when I look for it. It's in the G section, because if I have the on there, it's going to be a little bit harder to find. So just kind of modifying the name so it's easier for me to find, not changing the brush. Okay. Now you'll notice that it doesn't show up. If you come in here, if I hit G, it's not in my list of G brushes. So I'm going to hit reset all brushes. And what that's going to do is it's just going to take us back so that we are, all the brushes are, it's looking back at that brush folder and setting everything back to the defaults. So now if we look in here, we can see there's our Geo brush. Hit G and it's got GI for, Geo. And we can start playing around with it. You can see it's got a brush alpha, it's got the freehand stroke type. If we were to dig into, we could see like there are all sorts of things in here that are probably changed. We could look at the modifiers, the samples. You can see different things that he's done to be able to make it so that this works. But yeah, you can just make like a nice big brush, and you can kind of bring it along, and you're getting like this nice soft. That's actually really nice. I really like that. Might be a little bit too hard. There we go. Something like that. Cool. So yeah. So that's kind of the idea there is just taking it and playing with it, getting what we feel like we want. This right here feels like it's a little bit too asymmetrical. I want the thumb muscle to feel like muscles in the tip of the thumb and tips of the fingers to feel a little bit more symmetrical. So here, let's go in. I'll probably default back to like my standard basic brushes, clay buildup, Damien standard, just out of habit. But I do want to experiment with that Geo Soft Forms brush more, because like, for instance, here on the hand, on the palm especially, there's a really good opportunity to use something like this where it's, I'm just going to try to play with getting some of this. Get something in there. See, one of the things that I'm trying to do, and I've got some reference pulled up too. So and let me show you my reference because I've got some fun stuff going on over here. Let's see. I've got this program called Bluescape. It's like PureRef, but I like it way better. So I mean, I've got a lot of things going on here with my reference. Some of which includes things like, really good, clear images of these Sphinx cats. Hey sis, how you doing? Good morning. It helps me to get really good, clean reads on what's happening in their anatomy. So it's really kind of a fun thing to be able to look at and see. I'll have to go in and sorry, I'll have to go in and possibly create some stronger forms down in the I'll say the heel at some point because cats like walk on their toes. So being able to create a nice, some nice clean anatomy in the heel. Currently this is kind of what she's at. It's very, very stylized, very simplified. So we'll go through and we'll kind of strengthen these forms some at some point. But yeah, that's where we're at now. One of the other things that I have in my reference, I've got some good um, Egyptian-esque reference. Like this is kind of where I got the idea for the collar and the piece that's going underneath. I'm trying to go through and like design mine so that it feels like something totally unique. But I also like the idea of having things like this, where it's kind of like this interesting cover. This is kind of cool. It's like there are so many things to really go through and play with. Um, this is where I had gotten the idea for my original clothing. Okay, really kind of a neat thing. I mean, this is a Japanese like sewing pattern or costume pattern or something like that, but really kind of fun. And then I'm getting kind of different hand paw anatomy reference to be able to see like if there's something here that I like that I want to try out. Um, I did like some of the things going into that, but it felt a little bit, uh, maybe a little bit aggressive. Um, it's kind of interesting because I love the way that the artist had gone through and stylized the teeth. Hey Jace, good morning. I'm up. I'm up. I'm up. But yeah, so this one was really done super super well. Um, I really like the ideas of these pictures that I found on National Geographic of these ancient mummies with tattoos. Um, yeah, it's like week after week I come and find uh, more and more interesting reference. These are some sketch overs and draw overs, things of like that I'm doing to experiment and figure things out. Um, I'm I've been putting a lot of thought into this project, and there's still a long way to go. Like here's Kate Bosworth because she's got the cool two colored eyes. So we're trying to kind of experiment with a possibility of doing something like that, which I like. I like that quite a bit, and so we're going to see about playing around with it some. Um, yeah, we've got like, I mean, these particular pictures show notches in the teeth where poachers kind of ruined the teeth. Um, but just kind of getting different reference for when I start working on my character's teeth, so that these teeth can overlap nicely and create a good sense of interlocking. Okay. But yeah, so this is kind of where we're at. I love this though. I think this is super cool. I might use this more for the hair because I really like how it has like this mix of texture, this mix of shape. I really like the interwoven metal bits and how that creates this really fun sense of. In fact, here, let's do this. I'm gonna say, I'm going to say, just click and drag that down. I was so sure. I was so sure that there was a way of being able to draw an arrow in here, but I guess not. I mean, I guess technically I could use the pen, and I could say this right here. But obviously that's not very clean. Oh well, doesn't matter a whole lot. So yeah, this is kind of the idea though. I wanna try to do something like this. Now no matter where I drag this is always going to be attached to that picture, which is nice. Unless I drag it off in a really weird direction. Um, I want to also try to attach something to these two because I really like what's happening in here. I like some of the things that's happening here in this image, but I don't know, like the structure isn't, I don't know, it's not quite what I feel like I want out of it. I really like kind of this piece, and I like how this is working. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's tricky. It's hard trying to figure this stuff out. Here, let's see. Let's grab these. Pull them over a snidget. Oops. Okay, so we'll set these three together. So that way it becomes more of a matter of like, oh, I see this and this is cool and let's figure that out or something. This has some cool ideas. Like I like the idea of the wrapping, but I feel like, I mean, this is obviously a very modern drawing, so they all are. It's all very modern, but it's a matter of trying to figure some different things out. This mummy right here is from the Louvre, and I love this like this square wrap over the face. I just think that's so beautifully well done, and such a stellar amount of craftsmanship going into that weave. But yeah, that hair I think is probably more the direction that I'd like to go with our character's hair. So maybe what I'll do is I'll keep that open. Okay, I just gotta drag it over into my other window so that I can see what we're working on. I'm going to try to get rid of some of these extra pieces that I don't need, just to eliminate clutter. These are no good, but there is another set of eyelashes that we worked on. And let's put it beneath the eyes. We have this right here. That's the old model. I'll keep it for now. We're going to get rid of some of these though. Let's say delete. Say delete, delete. I don't need the posed onk, but you see, because there's like an unposed one too. And I might need to go through and do some more research to make this more historically accurate. One of the things that I was noticing is that, yeah, let's say cancel. I don't know. It's not a big deal. Spare scrolls. Oh yeah, that's right. I went through and did like a whole bunch of different versions. Okay, here I'm just gonna hide that. body drapery. Let's just go ahead and let's delete anything that doesn't have, let's say delete all. Okay, the basket. This is the basket, by the way. This is what I'm talking about with basket. Oh, it's not even on. Like, this is so funny. Okay, so there's my basket, and this is just a piece that I used. I used nanomesh to be able to create. Worked out very, very beautifully. If you want to be able to see a video on that, I do have it up on my YouTube. It's actually my most popular video. Here, let's go ahead and let's pull up the right websites. Close down everything else over here. Okay. So let me see. Click into YouTube. Go into live. It actually might be in videos. Let me check just to be sure. Lots and lots of content. Yeah, down here. So you see, like, I've got this 43,000 views on this. I've got uh, I've got 9,000 views on this one. So yeah, it's really kind of a crazy thing here. Let's say share, copy. So in case you want to be able to see what that does. Yeah, I don't actually do fiber mesh. I know how to use it. It's just definitely not my favorite. Um, I Yeah, especially since it's not something that I feel like I'm planning on using for the final result. It's one of those things that's hard for me to imagine getting into. Um, yeah, look, I mean this particular video is from 6 years ago, so this is definitely like a very old project. Um, it's fun. It's fun. But I've made a ton of refinements and advancements on her so far, so I'm excited about how she's going. Let's go ahead and close that. We'll delete the basket folder because we don't need it right now. I do want to make sure that when I hit save, though, that I go ahead and hit save in the like a save as. Let's say delete. Okay. Body drapery. Delete. Okay. Here's the clothing, and it's been merged, but it's like not very well formed, so I'm gonna go ahead and say delete. I went through, you saw it was really thick. I had thickened it up so that it could be ready to potentially print. Since it wasn't 3D print worthy, like, just didn't look good. Okay. Then I just wanted to make sure that it's kind of interesting to see. It's very, very low poly. Okay. Now, I've seen the Ankh be a couple different ways. I've seen it with like a round side and a square side, which I really, really like design-wise. I think it's super cool. But it seems like most of the Ankh that I've seen in traditional style reference, and I granted I don't think I have anything in my blue sky reference, but it seems like it's been square on both sides. So I don't know. I'll have to go through and do some more serious reference research for that at some point. If I decide to actually include the Ankh somewhere in my in this project. What's this piece right here? Oh, okay, I see. We can delete that. So yeah, right now we're just kind of like cleaning house a little bit. I'm going to keep this because this is the eyeglass. So what happens is that this, when it's rendered with Redshift, turn on Redshift renderer, render that. When I hit render with this, it goes through, and this is glass material, so it'll show through and it'll pull out some nice reflections. There we go. You can see that's starting to read pretty nicely. So yeah, now it's like I've got some good eyes. Um, One of the things that I feel like kind of modifying, I do kind of want this to feel a little bit more feline. So I think what I'm going to do is take this, take this. I'm just going to soften it. I've been having some issues trying to get the gizmo to align the way that I want it to lately. So I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, we got to turn on the symmetry, turn off dynamic. Here, let's make sure that this doesn't go anywhere. Just going to try to like pull in a little bit more of a peak. Because now that feels a little bit more cat-like. I don't know. We'll have to see kind of how it goes. How long are her feet compared to her shins? I'm looking to create my own character with digitigrade feet. But the references I have aren't exactly human proportions. Yeah, I lengthened mine out quite a bit. And I still have to go through and refine some forms and some shapes and things that are happening in there. But yeah, I mean, I have it so that, oh, come on, you. So like, I mean, if we look at like the space between the knees and the feet, it's like it's almost like 2/3 to a third is kind of how I have it split up. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the idea that I try to incorporate. Let's see what we can get. I'm trying to get um, a good change in here for the knee, like a little bit of a plane change, because I'm wanting it to kind of affect the silhouette a little bit, but it's not quite doing what I was hoping it would do. It's too hidden. Here, let's kind of drag that bit of the knee out a little bit. There's going to be a lot of experimentation. There always is. Let's see. Just going to try to like play around with this and see what we can come up with. These forms down in here are really lumpy at the moment. I need to try to work these out so that it's, I'll say, more predictable, so that it's cleaner, so that it feels like it's not like in and out, in and out, in and out. I want it to feel like it's got kind of a singular purpose. And that it's not constantly changing dimensions or planes or things like that, without being told to, right? It's like this is a little bit lumpy still, but it's getting better. Yeah, I'm liking how that feels. I'm still curious though, like how does it feel if I bring this forward a little bit more, just so that the leg feels a little bit more upright? I almost feel, in looking at her from the side, I almost feel that the legs are not long enough. Like the body feels a lot longer in proportion to the legs. It's like looking at it from the front and from the 3/4 angle. It's like I feel like it looks good, but it's one of those things that I'm trying to figure out a balance, get my proportions worked out. I mean, I do have the head a little bit larger on purpose because I want it to feel. I'm just kind of pushing like a stylized. I'm pushing age. I'm pushing those sorts of principles. Pardon me. But I'm trying to figure some things out with this. Um, hey, Masood, how you doing? Ahmed, can I ask you what is the best way to study anatomy without books? I practice 4 hours every day, just refs. Oh, practicing is always really good. Like it's just a matter of learning how to observe. I mean, so like one of the things that I have that I really enjoy utilizing as reference are these. Let me switch over to my camera view. I've got my reference models here that are, I've got male and female. I've got equerche, and it's like they're half and half. So they've got the half equerche, so you see all the musculature. You can even see like in the face, like it's super super neat. Let me see if I can close my chat for a minute here. Focus. Okay, so you can see like the musculature in the face, and it looks really really cool. But you can also see the skin side and see kind of how the forms of the anatomy flow and everything, and it's really really neat. It's really good reference. So I love things like this and being able to look at that, be able to turn that and be like, okay, I see what the shape is that's making or the silhouette. Um, I need to modify things a little bit so that my stuff is doing this, that, or the other, and it's fun. I really enjoy having things like that. So having good reference is really important, and then just learning to observe it. So yeah, let's keep. I'm gonna keep getting rid of. Say this is what she looked like before, which is kind of laughable to see. It's a very very different look. Let's say delete. It's another version. I just want to make sure that I have really more than anything just the. In fact, with this piece here, we don't need this to be such a high resolution anything. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to say initialize, bring the resolution down. We'll say Q cube. Because all this needs to be is something very simple to be able to keep the file name. Okay. What's next? What's next? What's next? I'm just going to go ahead and rename this just head so that it's easier to keep track of. Arms, claws, we'll say claws, hands. We'll say teeth. Yeah, claws, feet. We'll say body, because it includes the legs too. I'm going to put this up in here so that I have it like by order of importance. So I've got like the head, the body, the arms. Okay. Let's take the eyes and stuff them up under the head. I'm going to grab that tail, stuff it underneath the body. The eyelashes can stay down here. The hair can stay. The hair can stay. Yeah, we'll leave that. Let's expand this out a little bit to like 15, just so we can see a little bit better what's going on. Looks like we've got some more stuff here to get rid of. So this is the old posed arm. You can see like the anatomy is not amazing. It's not as bad as some things, but it's definitely not very well founded. I mean, you can see like there's no rhyme or reason to what's happening here in the tricep area. It's getting really messy here in the elbow, and then it's just extremely not tidy. The hands are very messed up. You know, the fingers and the knuckles, everything's just not very controlled. So it's a matter of just taking this. Let's just get rid of it. We don't need it anymore. Another scroll. I'll keep this down with the other scrolls or something. Yeah, just kind of put those into that scroll folder. I'll keep the clothing folder open. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, so far we've eliminated a couple million polygons by deleting things. So I'm going to come up here. Let's say save as. I'm going to change this to version 7. And I guess technically, if you wanted to, you could say save next, and that should go through and up your version for you. Oh my goodness, I still have my webcam on. Let's jump into a version where we're not looking at my face so closely. Golden ratio. Down in front, we can't see. Yeah. Yeah. How I got the job from Blizzard. Actually, I have a ton of production models in my portfolio. The thing is that I have a lot of like posed models. I just don't show things in the T-pose. I have things in pose. Everything has topology. Everything has textures. So it's all I see is that you're an Overwatch fan. I actually work on Overwatch. I like Overwatch, but yeah, I work on Overwatch. I'm a character supervisor, but it's fun. It's good times. Sorry, yeah, I'm down in front now. It's hard to see. It's hard to see everything sometimes. So we're currently not working on site, so it's kind of and I came on at a very transitional time. So it's a matter of me trying to figure out how to fit into my working environment, really. Yeah, I'm still super new, but the team's super cool. Everybody's super nice. Um, there are a lot of it's super different from working in animation. My most recent experience was I was a character lead at Marvel. And that's this is kind of what I did all day. It was great. It was so much fun. Trying to decide if I want to straighten that out some or not, but I think I'll leave it like that. I think that's fine. Um, but yeah, so that's what I was doing most recently is was being character lead at Marvel, and that's a big part of how I was able to get the job at um, at Blizzard. They actually reached out to me, so yeah, yeah. Most of my works on ArtStation are all. Let me see. I guess we'll come in here. Go to. I guess we'll go into portfolio then, because I know I've got down here at the bottom. There's a button to see more on ArtStation. I should have just typed in ArtStation. Yeah. So ones that I have that are not topologized. This guy's not topologized. Um, she's not topologized. She's not topologized. Well, she is, but she isn't. Otherwise, everything else has topology. Everything else is production ready. So it's, you know, yeah, it's all fun stuff. Go ahead and kind of close a bunch of stuff here. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff. I mean, it's one of those things that like getting a job, especially for my current job, because my current job is going. Yeah, I manually topologize everything. Um, yeah, because otherwise it's like automatic topology. It's not going to get you something that's production ready. um, but yeah, that um, one of the things that I will be doing a lot with my current job is more art direction. Being able to get things to be in the look of the game, and like managing things coming in from outsourcing, and yeah, just making sure things are looking right. And it's a really exciting position. Um, yeah, for hard surface, a lot of times you can get some good automatic retopology, but it's still something where it's like, actually don't know if I have it up on my ArtStation or not. Um, okay, I do have it up here. This guy right here, I mean, he's fully topologized. I have him. He's nicely worked out. um, but there, but the way that I went about creating his topology, I started off with ZRemesher, and then I went ahead and cleaned it up. So, so that's kind of how this sort of thing worked out. ZRemesher got me really close, but it didn't get me a final mesh. It does sometimes, but it's really only going to be with pieces that are not meant to move, that are not meant to, they're not meant like a character mesh. This will have to be done by hand. I won't be able to get a good ZRemesher result for this. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I know that one of the things that I've been trying to play around with is the idea of like eyebrows. So I'm gonna play with this for a second. I want to see kind of what it is that I can get out of this. Um, get something like this. so right now, let's go ahead and let's commit that. We'll say split unmasked points. Say eyebrows. Is there any course that you offer for production ready character design? I will be. I'm actually planning on opening a mentorship later this year, in the fall. But yeah, it's still in the works. It's still under process, in development. Planning on coming out in September, I think. So yeah, I should hopefully be able to start announcing that more in August. Um, do you think that someday some of the studios will switch over to Blender? There, there, there are some studios that use Blender, but they're going to be more indie studios. Like the big studios are still like Blender's not a mainstream piece of software. There are a lot of people that use it. A lot of oh, that's really weird. Um, Modify topology, delete hidden, mirror and weld. What do you mean it doesn't contain any? Oh, I thought this was something that they changed. Oh no. Mirror, modify it. Mirror and weld. Okay, turn that off. Mirror and good gravy. It's really odd to me that that was working like that. Really interesting. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through and kind of tweak things. Um, but yeah, that's kind of my intent for right now. Is to kind of work through, get that mentorship organized and set up, and then it'll be available through my website. So if you want to, there should be a spot where you can go to subscribe to my newsletter, and you can get news that way. There won't be news through the newsletter for a while, so you know that there won't be spam coming through at all from what you subscribe to. Um, but I will be using that to be able to announce um, when I release my course, when I open up my mentorship, that sort of thing. So I'm trying to get a good feel for how I want this to feel. I think I have like a Taylor Swift song stuck in my head and I can't get it out. And it's like I don't even know the words. All I can think are like the delicate. That's what it says. Something about delicate. You know what? I get enough complaints about how my audio sounds. I'm going to see if I can push I can push. I don't know if that's going to work or not. But no, it's honestly it's not something that I can do. Like I have all my settings up as high as I can make them. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like I literally get at least 2 dozen complaints about it every single week. Um, to the point that it's irritating. I almost want to make it like a silent stream and just not say anything. I'll just work and see if people care to come and actually just watch. It's like golly. Um, yeah, it's technology is just insane and irritating, but whatever. Whatever. Let's turn off this. We'll turn up some thickness so that we can see our brow a little bit. A little bit. I am not entirely certain what time I'll be streaming until today, but I know that I've got something going on this morning. So I think that I'm going to try to go until like maybe 9:30 or so. And then I got to go and get my kids ready to go. So it's kind of exciting. We get to go see the movie Elemental in like a pre-screening. So that's pretty exciting. It's one that the kids have been excited to see since they started seeing trailers for it. Nope, definitely not a new headphone. This is brand new. This is brand new. It has to do with it's on your guys' end. It's that's all I can say. Okay. I mean, this is definitely like standing off of her head. Way, way more than I think I need it to. Of course, there's also something to be said for the fact that I'm very chill. Like, um, I mean, if I get like super high energy and I start talking like, whoa, it's like, I'm sure that that's a lot louder. Um, I can't hold that kind of energy. Most of the time, anyway. I don't want her to feel or to look worried. Yeah, it's just kind of a funny thing. And it's like, I don't want to be like shouting while I'm talking to, because I don't want to disturb my family as they're doing their things. Especially since I start streaming decently early in the morning. You know, just kind of how it is. And I don't want my microphone in the mouth. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit too uncomfortable for me. But I can try to keep the microphone a little bit closer to the mouth, and maybe that'll help some. I just wish that it was. That it wouldn't cause issues. Yeah, just for the sake. Microphone privacy settings. Let's go sound settings. You know what? Is that working any better? Microphone's up at 100. I mean, it's this like literally like I've got it like everywhere where I can go. I didn't I didn't even change the microphone settings at all. So anyway, whatever. Whatever. I'm just gonna not worry about it. Hey, Leonard. It sounds better. Yeah, I didn't change anything. The only thing I did differently is I moved that microphone just a little closer to the mouth. So now it's like if I needed to sneeze or lick my lips or anything, I couldn't do that. Okay. So I guess we'll just have to keep in mind keeping that mic a little bit closer to my mouth, like uncomfortably close. I should probably also shave so that my face bristles are not brushing up against anything. Um, One of the things that I want to try is here. Let's go ahead and um, let's say crease, so that we get the nice creases going around the outside. We'll say let's take the crease and we'll just kind of pull it down to 2. So Control D, Control D, Control D, so that way we get a smoother shape. Kind of hide that. One of the things that I wanted to play around with, and we'll have to see if it works. Or how well it works. I'm going to try playing around with this and see what we get. We're going to take the snake hook brush. Oops. Yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and kind of like sculpt this a little bit. Yeah, let's turn on back face masking so I don't ruin the back of my model. Let's see what else we can get going on here. Let's get that to be a little bit more narrow. It's like one of the things that I'm trying to play around with is this idea of just that swoosh, just that extra little bit of up to the eyebrows. I don't think it's working the way that I had hoped it would work. Which is fine. I mean, that's just why we experiment. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and mask that out. And just kind of like lean it back some, just so that it's a little bit more streamlined. Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think of like, yeah, the bristles are ASMR, all good. That's the high level attraction to the stream. Got to get the target poly count that we have for an Overwatch 2 hero, about 60,000. It goes anywhere between like 55 to 60,000 depending on what it is that, like which character it is. But yeah, 60,000 is about average. That's kind of like the budget that is assigned to a character. Let me see. I'm trying to decide if I like that. I don't think I do. I don't think this is working. Do you have to bake all the subtools before printing? not sure exactly what your question is. Um, do you have to bake all subtools before print? So, like for instance, if I yeah, let's get rid of that because I don't really like that. We'll go back to some more regular eyebrows for now. Um, okay, so your question: do we have to bake all subtools before printing? So, like for instance, um, if my subtool has a bunch of subdivisions, one subtool. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So like combine, like boolean them together. The main things that you need for 3D printing is to make sure that things are watertight. Um, yeah, I don't know that I really have. Oh, here we go. Here's something simple I can hold up. Um, we'll make sure to turn webcam off in a minute. But here is my baby shark, and you can see like he's hollow too. You can see there's the hole in the bottom, and he's you know he's hollow. He's not a solid piece of resin. But one of the things that's really important with 3D printing is to make sure that pieces don't have like the geometry doesn't have holes in it. Um, is one of the things that will happen. I mean, yeah, like the piece has a hole in it, but the geometry doesn't have a hole. So the geometry just includes it includes being hollow, but it doesn't include holes in the geometry, if that makes sense. The holes are for printing purposes so that it doesn't create suction on the print bed. Because if it's a cup and you have a cup that's printing, when it's on the print bed, it can sometimes yank it right off. Um, when it's down in the resin and getting a new layer of resin, it'll create suction and it can ruin your print. So that's why we create holes in the geometry, or holes in the piece. Um, but the geometry itself needs to be solid. No holes, no non-manifold geometry. It's kind of involved, but it's really important to make sure that things are going to turn out the way that you need them to. So yeah, that's something that's yeah, that was kind of a fumbled explanation there. Um, but yeah, that's really important. So let me switch back to this so that we don't have to worry about looking at my face so much. Um, what was I gonna say? But yeah, so that's the main thing, is making sure that things are combined. So right now, for instance, this piece has a big hole down here in the bottom. That wouldn't fly, but if I were to hit close holes, this piece would become printable. I could 3D print that and it would turn out just beautifully. Um, if I wanted to be able to print it with the eyes, with the eyebrows, eyelashes, the earrings, those sorts of things as well, the hair, whatever, I would probably Boolean that together. The hair needs a lot of work in order for it to be clean and ready for printing, but it's, you know, the idea is for everything to be closed off and for everything to be solid and, you know, clean, for it to be clean. So yeah, let me see. 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 I really want. If I let's use the geo. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I just need to get good placement on these. This is the kind of detail that I don't want to keep for now, but having it there is kind of cool. Yeah, definitely not like set up correctly yet, but it's kind of cool to experiment with that. All right, let's jump in. Let's see what else we can. Let's get some more of that. Yeah. Pablo did a nice job with this. He does a nice job with everything. It was a little bit too harsh right there, though. Okay, so this little bit right here, I want to kind of fix that. I think I like how the nose is. It's just this little bit right here outside of the nose that I'd want to tweak to make it feel a little bit nicer. Okay. Turn on AccuCurve with that move brush and just kind of accent that corner. Well, I need to grab something to suck on here. Let's grab a Ricola. It's like I have a really hard time talking too much. So I have to find little things to suck on or else my throat goes dry. So hopefully I don't get too much ASMR from that. No, it's that my throat goes dry, and so I have to do stuff to try to keep my throat from going too dry. So I'll have like some go-to losange that I like sucking on to try to keep myself going. It's like my throat gets dry, and then it's like I've got to kind of clear my throat to be able to make sure that it doesn't itch, because that drives me nuts. Just kind of want to like play with some of these forms just a little bit. I think that might be getting a little bit too, that's too aggressive. Yeah, I remember like when I was a kid, we would go to church. There was this there was this gentleman there that would always have Werther's originals, and he would always hand them out. He'd always like pull it out of his suit coat, and he'd stoop down to the kids, and he'd hand out Werther's originals. And I was like, "That's an old man candy," and I loved them. They were so good. Cool, cool, cool. That's an old man right there. Yep. What does AccuCurve do in conjunction with the Move tool? So the Move tool, just normally you're going to get kind of like this kind of rounded sort of shape, right? But if you turn on AccuCurve, you're going to get a much sharper shape. So for reference, that's what it looks like without. This is what it looks like with. Um, so it's a really really handy way to be able to just sharpen your sampling point on your brush. It's essentially going to take it and it's almost like giving it this you know what, I don't know that it really has the right kind of Doesn't really have the right point that I'm looking for here. Oh well. But it's almost kind of like a Damien Standard, but like sharper. I don't know. It's really really crazy. Hate arguing with yourself. That's hilarious. I have a question. Do you texture, color, detail everything in ZBrush, or do you use something else? Most of what I do is inside of ZBrush, just because it's where I feel the most comfortable. It's what I enjoy the most. Um, yeah, I love ZBrush. It's really really cool. Um, there are some things like I mean, for instance, for work, I don't really use ZBrush much at all. Um, not anymore anyway. When I was at Marvel, it's what I used all the time. Like that was my go-to. It was what I would use to be able to correct things coming in from outsourcing, things coming in from other artists. It's the stuff that I would use to do my own work. But um, but at Blizzard on Overwatch, most of what I spent most of my time inside of Maya, Photoshop, and the game engine. There are some things like different accessories for a character that I'll go through and I'll create using ZBrush, but then I do most of like for instance, my topology, my UVs, everything inside of Maya. Any other kind of edits, usually done inside of Maya, and then that gets put into the game engine and continues on. Um, but yeah, it's it's kind of crazy. I love ZBrush though, so this is why I spend time with my personal projects. It's this is this is me time. This is me doing something for myself. Um, Something to kind of push my skills, to advance my design sense, different things like that. I like being able to feel like I'm growing in ways that I feel passionate about. Let's see. Um, that feels kind of cool. I don't know. There might be some things that we do later with that. There's going to be a ton of like tweaking back and forth to be able to make these things work, but it's it's okay, I guess. Is it going to be printed? Yeah, at some point the idea is for it to be printed. Um, the original the original piece. Let me just pull this up so we can show you. This is the original, and so it's serving as kind of like a concept now. This is kind of what she looked like before. So this is kind of serving as more of like a concept now, but there are a lot of anatomy things that I needed to fix in order for this to look right. This piece is like 7 or 8 years old. This is really really old character, and so yeah, I'm just trying to go through and refine that, do something slightly different so that she's completely done, completely ready. And so that's kind of part of what we've been doing here on the stream is exploring that and seeing what that's supposed to look like. So let me see. I can take this actually, put that into old. I want to leave the rest of these out though, just for reference sake. But yeah, I mean it's been an insanely fun project to work on. I'm liking some of these shapes going down here. I'm wondering if I can get a little bit nicer of a peak right here. So what I'm going to try to do is like add. Oh, that's why I was like, why isn't it working? It's like I'm trying to get it to flow in just the right spot so that I get like this nice break and then this curve down. So it's like this curve up and then the curve down. And I'm trying to look at like these ratios. Whereas like from here to here, it's like a 1, 2, 3. So it's like this lower third is where that kind of curves back. And then right here, like I've got this like it's like 1, 2, 3 sort of thing. So it's like it's kind of creating this rhythm. I'm liking that. That's working. It's a matter of it being a plane change, not so much like a hard corner, but like a plane change. And I think that that's working pretty well for us. If we wanted to, we could look at everything without color and be able to see our forms a little bit better. We do have to be very, very careful when we do this though, because we don't want to, like, especially if we want to keep our color, we just want to make sure that we are mindful of what functions, what actions we're performing, so that we don't accidentally like, whoops, there goes our color. There we go. It's a little bit cleaner. I try to go through every once in a while. When I notice that it's not very clean, I'll try to like turn off all the color and then look through it and see what it is that needs to be cleaned up. And I'll be going back and forth quite a bit to be able to clean things up, but I feel like it's important. Um, but yeah, for the most part, I use ZBrush. One of the other things that I'm trying to get back into is using Substance Painter. It's a really powerful tool. It's got some really cool stuff. In fact, I was showing my students some stuff in Substance last night, and that was fun. That was a good time. Um, so I showed them like the baking process. I showed them some adding materials. We didn't get too far in depth in it because it's like the computer one didn't want to go very quickly. But then two is such limited time in class to be able to do stuff, so it's kind of crazy. But 50 and starting with ZBrush, loving it. That's good. Yeah, ZBrush is very different from other software packages, but it's so flexible and it's got so much that you can do with it. It's an absolute riot. I love using ZBrush. I guess you can do the same thing with an alpha. I lost context for that, but yeah, alphas are really powerful. I really like alphas. Speaking of Maya, I've been getting 3D unfold issues when exporting from ZBrush to Maya to UV map. I reset prefs and recheck the plugin, but it's still weird. I had some issues last night, which is kind of funny. Um, you might have to explain your issues a little bit more, Kid Wonder. I can probably talk you through it a little bit. But yeah, any plans for Father's Day? I think most of what we'll be doing is like stuff for today. In fact, I'll probably go ahead and call it a day for now. I know it feels like we didn't really do a whole lot. We did actually quite a bit. There's been a lot of refinement made to the face. She feels a lot more refined. We made some adjustments to, like some slight adjustments to the arms, some slight adjustments to the legs, the knees. I still want to kind of adjust the feet a little bit. They feel a little bit too inward, like on the bottom, like they're slanting too much from out to in. I want it to feel a little bit more like down and then out, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to go through and kind of get some better reference for it. Um, because I actually don't have. I do have some. Now, you know what? Actually, that's not too far off from what I need anyway. So I think it's just a matter of going through and studying these forms a little bit better and getting a better feel for that. Maybe adding in this little guy right here. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to figure out what we figure out. But yeah, I think that's kind of where we're going to leave it. One of the things that I'm hoping to go through and design over this next week, maybe we can start blocking it in next week, is the clothing. You know, whatever drapery we have going over her body. I want to figure out ways to be able to clothe her. I want to figure out like maybe bracers or bracelets, maybe like some sort of arm bands. You know, like I don't know, figure out different things with which to clothe our character. So we're gonna play around with that some. You ended the stream. Yeah, you ended the stream. Yeah, I've got plans for the kids today, so making a helmet in ZBrush. Wanted to use it in UE5. Sorry, that was like right in your ears. I'd meant to like turn off the mic before I started to my bad. Um when I import FBX from ZBrush into Maya, try a UV unwrap, cutting for the unwrap, I get a 3D unfold. You might have non-manifold geometry, and usually that occurs when like random points stitched together. It can create some really crazy issues, and it drives me absolutely nuts. But usually that's one of the things that you'll have to look for, and you'll have to go in. I think it's under mesh. There should be like some, yeah, I forget what it's called. Um, some sort of quality check, some sort of check for non-manifold geometry, cleanup, mesh cleanup. I think is what it's called. So you go through and you do that. You can search for or you can fix non-manifold geometry that way. I typically have it go through and search for the non-manifold stuff, so that way I can go through and manually control it myself. Because yeah, I'd much rather. Uh, I mean, you can kind of find non-manifold geometry in here. I mean, you can come over here to geometry and where is it at? Mesh integrity. There's this check mesh integrity, and it'll tell you whether or not something was all right. If it says that there are issues, you can say fix mesh. One of the tricky things, though, let me see. There should be another tool, and I'm trying to remember where it is. But there's another tool where it'll actually go through and highlight things for you. This is really helpful for things when you're trying to get things ready for 3D printing. I don't typically use this on something that has a clean geometry, clean topology, because I tend to control those things pretty heavily. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at right there is the check mesh integrity, and then fix mesh. If anything, like if you have pieces that have clean topology, and you're wanting to try to do under render booleans. Oh, the show issues. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, that might be what I was thinking about actually. So maybe it's not so much like a finding those non-manifold issues as it is like finding issues with your boolean. But Whatever. It's all right. But yeah, so this is kind of where we'll leave off. Let's go ahead and let's turn on the eyes. Now for these pieces, I don't know. I don't know what to do with the eyebrows for now. Quite honestly, I think I'd just as just as soon leave them off. And then let's just go ahead and hit render, and then we'll call it a stream for the day. But yeah, it's fun. We're having fun. Oh, guys, thanks for coming and hanging out. It's always good having good people to talk to and to chew me out for my bad mic practices. uh, Gosh, I'll see you guys next time I see you. My plan. Okay, so next week I would typically be streaming every Saturday morning, like I have been. I will not be streaming next weekend because I'll be visiting family in Texas. Um, so I will not be streaming next week. But there are some really cool people getting ready to stream. So we've got, oh, I guess somebody else is supposed to be streaming like, oh, at 11. Okay. So this morning at 11. That's cool. It's actually good to know that somebody is supposed to be coming up after that. This is somebody new. That this is not somebody that I'm familiar with. So I'm gonna let's check her out. Yeah, an hour and 22 minutes. It's a pretty cool image. So she looks like she'll be fun to watch. Let's see. Here's her art station. Let's go check out her art station. Oh, here, I guess let's say paste. Oh, that's cool. Oh, she's from Ukraine. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Worked on Here's the Storm. That's pretty fun. Oh, these are pretty neat. Yeah, okay. So she'll be a fun one to watch. So yeah, I'd say drop in and check her out. So she'll be streaming starting in about an hour and 20 minutes. Um, yeah, go have fun. Go enjoy a beautiful day with streams. Um, Again, for anybody interested in being able to see my links and anything, here's my page. Hi, Emperor of Cheese. Bye, Emperor of Cheese. Um, and yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out, and we'll see you next time we see you. Smartest out.